That's going to see how many turnovers they can force. That'll be interesting.
Questions for Coach?
So many storylines, Coach, but the biggest one I think is you guys had the double-digit lead with about halfway through, the second half, and this time that you didn't let them come back, you triumphed. What was the key to doing that and making sure it didn't happen again?
Yeah, I think you were down, saw us in the press. I mean, our entire press, it certainly wasn't any game adjustment. It was there's 3 practices that we had. I guess we didn't practice Monday, but 2 good individual meetings that we were talked about being aggressive, staying aggressive with your body and your mind. I mean, it just you have to keep pushing the ball, keep driving at them. When they cut it down to 5 points, okay, what the best part of that was that the 2 buckets we scored to answer were end ones. David Nawab, I believe, got a basket underneath the hoop that was an end one, and whether it was Brian or Joel on a post up. And both those were exactly what we're looking for. Don't try to answer with a soft shot or pass around the perimeter. You have to answer with a drive to the hoop, an aggressive play. And that was a lot of video work. That was a lot of teamwork. That was a lot of looking at what fundamentals of basketball, a triple threat, trying to be inside and aggressive. Our numbers offensively are very, very impressive when the ball touches the paint. We are well over a 50% shooting team when the ball gets into Brian or Joel or David touches the paint. That still might mean a three-pointer, but the three-pointer came as a ending part of the ball being driven to the paint, the key. We get the ball inside 15 feet, the defense contracts, and then it expands, and then you're able to drive and shoot and get better shots. So that was without the doubt the key, and the response, there was a different feeling on our guys. Okay, here they come, and well, what do? You attack back at them. And I was very, very pleased with that, and I knew that we are clearly one of the better teams in the Big West defensively, but clearly the struggle the most on the offensive end. I think tonight, by putting 66 points up at least on our home court, and still shooting 2 for 16. You know what? Reese makes one, Ridden makes one, Mike Smith went. All of a sudden, you're putting 70, 72 points up. So I'm more impressed that we won it without shooting the ball well. That was the most important part.
Thank you.
Can you talk about Joel? He had career high in points, career high in blocks, and I'm sure what is, if not the highest, but 16 field goal attempts, if not one of his highest.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So, can you talk about what he's done in the offseason, what he's doing right now?
Well, I don't think it has a lot to do with his offseason. I think if you look at the start of the year, it was almost like everybody's waiting for Joel to grow, to expand. You saw the potential, his vertical, his soft touch, his moves there. But by nature, Joel's a real steady kind of guy. He's not a lot of flash, and he's steady. Is the best way to say it. And I felt like he needed 10 to 15 games. We weren't expecting Joel to hit the scene and explode. The first game he became a starter. And basically the first time he became a starter. He's been here for 4 years. He redshirted. Was not highly recruited by anybody else in the nation. We found a great kid, a great athlete, and a very coachable basketball player that we said we'll work with him. Former coach Ernie Wheeler saw him his first month of practice here. Said, "My goodness, what did you recruit that guy for? He's not a Division I player." I said, "You're right. He's not now, but we're going to develop him into one because he got great character, great student, likable, hardworking, and athletic." And it's taken him 3-4 years, but now he's a mid-junior year with still a year and a half ahead of him. He knows what he can do, and he's doing it with the pace and the poise and the confidence. He says, I'm a good basketball player.
You talk about the energy, the pace that your team played with. Joel, just in here earlier, talked about he felt you guys just maintain the same energy to hold him off, and maybe that's a metaphor for someone like Joel who never gets hot-headed and he's cool. Can you talk about the energy, the mindset your team had when they're making that run?
Yeah, we were talking about the energy all through practices. We were talking about the energy with the bench, the guys that get in the game. We were talking about the energy from guys that are redshirting. We were talking about the energy from the coaching staff, going through edits, the sense of urgency and energy. It's hard to be a light switch and you just turn on, okay, now I'm going to go. You got to kind of get this thing going, and you got to keep it going. And I thought that we had some transition baskets and opportunities in the first half, but didn't still result in a ton of points. We scored 26 points, but I thought the tempo and the assertiveness was much better. You look at it's classic Cal Poly score, 26-22 at half, and you go, okay, we're pleased with our defense. But I said if we stay with that, I think we'd get another steal, The 1-3-1 helped us again, but it transitioned into a dunk, an energy play, some different type of plays that transition to an easy basket. Hence, we have the lead and we hold them off. They're fouling us at the end, and that gets you another 5 or 6 points on free throws at the end of the game. So, all of a sudden, instead of fighting to get 50, 55, you're there at 66.
Thanks.
Coach, you could really call any conference game pivotal in terms of getting a win. But with a 1-3 record coming into this game, how important is it to get this win at home and go into the weekend now with a chance to kind of even up your record back at 500?
Well, I thought, if we don't play well and we lose the game, I didn't feel like I was ready to jump off the Pismo Pier, but I would drive by it at least and then see how it was doing. But I do think that the coaching is about, are there really big signs of improvement? I mean, and especially when you draw up the scenario of build a lead, they swing it back at you, they cut it down to 5. How do you respond? And I'm just most pleased with the fact we responded by getting the ball to the rim, by getting those end ones, not by shooting it. Don't shoot your way back and impose your will when somebody's trying to take it from you. No, we're going to come back at you and drive it hard to you or post up hard.
First game over 40% since IPFW. Is that a result of that attitude?
Absolutely. I thought the change of our team really was when we went to USF and we were real aggressive at USF and beat them on their court. And we used that aggressiveness offensively onto Northeastern, second half, energized. We came back and got that game at the end at the buzzer. We made the run on them. They had a 14-point lead, and we came back and got them. So teams do to each other. We went to Gonzaga. I thought we were aggressive against Gonzaga. We had a good game plan, good execution. Again, didn't shoot the ball well. We're not a great shooting team, but had we, maybe we knock off number 3 team in the nation. But that carried on to Santa Clara for a victory. That carried on to go to IPFW. It even carried on to Hawaii. But I do think what carried on was the fact that we were on the road 9 of 10 games, and I thought that we lost a little bit of our energy, a little bit of our legs, a little bit of our confidence, that when the people punched back at us, we kind of like, dang it. Instead of, no, punch back, drive your legs, go to the hoop, keep that pressure on them. And really, we're a possession or two from being a 4-2 team, and so you can't panic. I think a coach once said, or a quarterback said once, relax, but do the right things more aggressively at the right times. So that's where we're at.
Last question I have. Dave had kind of a hyper efficient game, 18 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 6 of 9 from the free throw line, no turnovers, 3 steals. You talk about your energy and maintaining that over the course of a game. David seems like your energy guy. Can you tell me about why it's so important for him to have a game like this right now?
Well, I think one thing with David we found is getting him a break a little bit earlier. Subbed him out a little bit earlier. He goes so hard, he's doing so much, he's so athletic, that we got him in out of the first rotation a little bit, and got Reese in for him, and let Mike stay on the defensive assignment. And then I think keeping Dave at 30 minutes instead of pushing him at 35, 36, 37, and that's key, because he is that spark. He's working, he's working the top of our 1-3-1. It's that much more work for him. So we think that's a big part of finding that balance. That's probably the only major adjustment we made was just kind of the flow, rotation a little bit in that direction.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah. If you could just briefly touch on, you held their leading scorer, Harris, to 2 of 11 shooting. He's normally getting 16 points. Did you guys do anything different tonight to contain him?
Yeah, I think there were a couple very specific things, and I'm glad you recognize it, because he's an outstanding player, actually averaging 20 points a night in conference play. So coming into this game in conference, he's well over 20 a night. Number one thing is Michael Bolden is an excellent defender with long arms. Alex Harris is an excellent player. He's a great scorer. He gets the free throw line a lot. He shoots the 3. I think Mike did a nice job, but it was a team effort in transition, really trying to corral him up. And then I think the 1-3-1, we did some things where we wanted to make sure we corral him and put him in a tighter spot, so that we had to get the ball out of his hands more, not allow him to make as many of those decisions in that position, and kind of make the other guys in the corners have to make the decisions, because Alex Harris he's already shown he's an all-conference type of player, and you don't want that guy to be the one to beat you. So we did quite a bit more concentration on him, and it worked out well for us tonight.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.